My original plan for this video was to provide much more of a demo of how to do things than I usually have. I was going to capture the screen as I took you step by step through the WordPress menu and showed you how to create a site. I was even going to call this video Creating Blog Infrastructure, and that to me now just seems like something that should be in architecture instead of media. And over the past few weeks, I've continued to see more and more students make their blog and begin to post on it. And it was tweets like this one that really reminded me that I don't need to teach you how to do things. You learn by doing, making, experimenting and playing. And I really encourage you to do this in the near future if you haven't started already. And it's really fantastic to see so many people finding out how interesting and easy WordPress is and how enjoyable it can be to put some thoughts down on the screen and post it out there. Share your blog posts. Blogs can get you a lot of exposure. And making this video takes me back to one of the very first WordPress sites I made. This wasn't for the function of a blog as such. This was to promote a conference that I convened in 2014. So I created this site in 2013 on Holocaust and genocide representation. A few colleagues and I decided we wanted to try and make a bit of a name for ourselves in the area of our research, and we convened this conference. We had a choice or two available to us about how we do this, how we'd promote the conference. We could have used the internal Deakin University servers and got someone in admin to make a site for us using a couple of web pages. We would have had to go through one or two people to get approval for every single change we made. We couldn't actually get the access to the site that we ideally wanted. And we wanted to really update it quite often, and as we were able to confirm special events and we got access to various films to screen, and speakers confirmed their participation in kind of panels. And unlike most conferences that do use the university websites, we decided that we'd make our own website. And I made this site using the completely free version of WordPress in a couple of hours, and then we updated it when we needed to. It was really, really valuable for us to do this. I was no expert on WordPress. I had not had any training in it whatsoever, but as you will learn when you put together a site, it's quite amazingly easy to do so. And we actually put together the country's largest Holocaust and genocide conference ever as part of this. Now, we sent around this conference link through the various mailing lists. Usually academic conferences are mainly advertised through mailing lists, and we were quite amazed by just how many people accessed the site. As you can see here, we had in 2013 well over 4,000 views by over 1,000 unique visitors. We had in the next year, and this is really the first 6 months in particular of 2014, we had almost 3,000 views by again over 1,000 visitors. And you can see here just by how many times each page was accessed, that people who were visiting the site were often very genuinely interested about what was going on at the event. We were also really amazed at just how diverse our audience was. We had no idea that people from this many countries would be accessing our site in 2013 alone. And so I think that really underlines the power that online media can have for getting you exposure, for making you visible. And because of the exposure you can get by making this kind of thing, it's important to make sure you have an engaging site and that you're visible in it. The first thing, how to have an engaging site? Well, having a blog that you consistently upload content to and new content is a lot different from having a rather static WordPress site that I created for a conference that gets updated a few times around an event, but now, apart from letting people know what happened and who was involved, is now pretty much redundant. Having a blog is about getting that content up there on a consistent, regular basis. Having one or two posts is kind of defeating the purpose of having a blog, and I really want you to think through that as you develop it in future. Don't just let it be something that you're making for a few assignments, and I'll come back to that idea. I said before that you need to bring yourself into the blog, and I don't mean just writing in the first person, which you can do in a blog. Choose a template that fits your purposes and take its aesthetic appearance into account. And if you've got an about page, and the vast majority of templates have this, and if it doesn't, I'd suggest you create one, fill it out. I have seen Probably 95% or more of student blogs in the past have this about page linked from their homepage where the blog posts go. And if I click on that about page, it usually just has the template text saying who you are. This is who I am, or whatever it says. I have seen precious few students ever fill that out, and it's so crucial. This enables people to access other relevant social media profiles you have and get in touch with you if they want to. You can enable comments, that's one option to allow people to contact you, but you can also add your email address if you're comfortable doing so. That's another option. Or actually, even better, or as well as doing this, link your other social media accounts to this. Tweet out your blog post. Have your Twitter handle linked to your about page and tweet out your post. That's how you'll get the traction. That's how you'll get people visiting your blog, subscribing, and keeping an eye out for new content. It's absolutely crucial that you do this. Another crucial part of making your blog engaging is to give your site an interesting name. Don't foreground the unit code or the unit title in the name of your blog, even if you're perhaps primarily and at least initially using your blog for this unit. I've seen far too many blogs that are created by students that have a university name, a unit code, or a unit title in the main heading, and they're also used in the blog post headings. You don't need to do that, and there's so much more potential value in that if you actually think a little bit more creatively about what you're doing, give it more of a content or thematic flavour. You don't have to hide the fact that you're a student in your blog, but don't make it look like you're making a blog for study. This limits your potential audience drastically and suggests to me and your student peers, and probably also yourself more importantly, that you're only planning to use this site for the unit, after which the site's going to die. That really does miss the whole point of what we're doing here. You want this site to be a highly valuable element of your e-portfolio for the future. And in terms of naming, the same goes for blog post titles. A really common trend I've seen in past years is to label blog posts something like Assignment 1 or Assignment 2. And that kind of suggests the same thing, that this blog is temporary and it's not going to last, and for anyone apart from your marker, it's really of no interest to you at all, so please click away. That's not the point of what you're trying to do here. And the last point I'd make here is to think beyond just the written word. Sure, the term blogging still has strong connotations for some people of a user who writes consistent written entries, generates a lot of content that way. And some people might do that, but if you look at the really effective bloggers, the ones who have strong followings, the ones who have really engaging content, they do incorporate various kinds of media. At the same time, don't underestimate how important it is to write well. Write fluently, write grammatically, and write with a tone that fits. This is one of the most frequently asked questions I get about writing blog posts. It's certainly not the same as writing an essay, a really formal scholarly tone, although some blog posts you're asked to write might be scholarly in nature that draw on research. So look for great examples, do some research on blogs, see what engages you, see what engages other people. Most importantly, create your site and make some blog posts. Share them out there, ask for feedback. Start to interact with other people's blogs, and you'll see that you will learn by making and doing. There's no other way.